DSP. This episode is once again brought to you by Great Lakes Discs. Whether you're looking for cool new gear or your new favorite disc, head over to Great Lakes Discs and they'll have you covered. Made it super simple. Just click the link in all my social media platforms, wherever you're seeing this on. Hit the link, and then the Great Lakes Disc link will be right there. You can start your shopping right away. As always, I'm your host, Josh, and tonight's guest, he got my attention when I listened to the Disc Golf Answer Man, ran by Bobby Brown. He was a guest on there, so he's so he's been on podcasts before. Yeah. So without further ado, I'll let my guest introduce himself, where he's from, and how disc golf started for him.
All right. Well, my name is Kyle Giovannini. I'm a Dynamic Disc sponsored player. I have been playing disc golf since 2011, 2012. PDGA number 60367, if you want to look up my prestigious career. But yeah, so like I got introduced to disc golf, what I would say is like late. I didn't really become a disc golfer until after college. So I played baseball and then joined the Army in college, and I had gone like discing or gone to play some frisbee with the buddies, a couple times. But then I was actually on a recovery track for a knee injury that I sustained in the Army. And my doctor was like, don't go back to playing softball. You're going to injure yourself. I was like, oh, no. So I was living in Joplin, Missouri at the time, and there was a nice 27-hole track called McClellan Park. If you ever get a chance, go there now. It's been completely redesigned. There are two just awesome courses there at McClellan Park in Joplin. But back in the day, it was 27 holes. Like most of the holes were between 200 and 300 feet. It was like the perfect kind of local park course. And so I would go with a Dave Feldberg boss and a bottle of water, and I would just run the 27-hole loop twice through. It was about a 4-mile run. And one day I was out there running, and I ran up on Chris Clemens and Kyle Webster, and I think Andrew Jenks and Michael Corey. They were playing in a group for leagues, and I just like ran up on them. And they were like, you go ahead and play through, man. You're playing pretty quick. Like, okay, cool. Threw a shot, and they were all like, oh, that was pretty good. Why don't you come out to league? And I was like, what's a league? And they all kind of giggled. And Clemens was like, just show up next Tuesday at 5 o'clock for $5. And so I did. And I was like looking around, and, at the time, I'm a 24-year-old, very in shape individual looking around all these like old farts with, their bags of discs. And I could just think, this game, man, absolutely got trounced. Just, they mopped the floor with me. I mean, I wasn't even in, it was just, and so I was like, competitive person. So I was just instantly just hooked. I mean, like a hook in my liver was just like, I am going to be the best I can possibly be at this. And so I deep dove. I ended up playing disc golf every day for like 400 days straight. I played every single day. Yeah. So like that was in 2011, I want to say. No, 2012. I graduated 2011. 2012. Yeah, 2012. And so then I played all the time, and I got pretty decent pretty quick. I want to say I never played like rec. I went straight to intermediate and won a couple of events, and then moved up to advanced and just got trounced, and then life kind of took me all over the place from there. I did some stuff with the Army in Missouri, and then chased my then girlfriend, now wife, out to Colorado, and had a big old conking, big disc golf adventure out in Colorado with the old Throw Colorado crowd. For those who, if you're listeners in Colorado, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And so I lived in Colorado Springs, and that was where I kind of fell in love with the very the higher end level of the game, like the playing for money, right? Like playing for that open golf. So I turned pro in 2016 and won a couple of little local events. And then that was where all those buddies were like, you got to get sponsored. It was back when being a sponsored disc golfer was big thing. You would have one, maybe two people in a community that had any sort of sponsorship affiliation with anything, It's not like now where you've got a lot of players have figured out how to partner with like local shops and partner with, not necessarily
Yeah.
manufacturing brands, but like like local dealers and other brands. So you get guys that are sponsored all over now. Back then it was like, you're sponsored. That's you've made it. You've done the thing, right?
Yeah.
And so like I had buddies that were sponsored at the time. I had friends who were sponsored by Discraft and Prodigy, and I think I knew somebody that was sponsored by Discmania. And I think Chris at the time, because Chris at that time was living in Kansas City, and I think then he was sponsored by Latitude. He was sponsored by
Okay.
Latitude as like one of their lower level pros and stuff, and so I was like, well, I mean, why not? This is fun. I love it, and having some way to help support it would be super cool. Um, hang on one second. What's up, Aylin?
Okay.
Let me see the kitty. It's my daughter and cat. Kitty cat. Say hello to Shrimp.
Hey.
Hi.
All right. Can you take Shrimpy back to mommy? Take Shrimpy back to mommy.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. All right, close the door. I'm gonna close the door. Daughter break.
Life of a dad. I know how that is.
Dad, yeah, she's adorable. That we let her name the cat, so of course she named the cat Shrimp. Obviously,
Perfect.
perfect cat name, right? But yeah, so I contacted, I went online, and that was back when basically every team had like hey, if you want to be on our team, click on this thing. You download the little packet, fill it out, send it back up. You could do that almost any time. It's not like nowadays where like teams have a window where you can apply and this, that, and the other. It was just you find the form, fill it out, let us know who you are, and we'll talk to you. I didn't know this at the time, but thousands of people did that every year for like every company.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like I applied to, I think, Discmania. Honey, come on. Daddy's doing a show with me. Here, come on. Stop. Come on. Come on, go see mommy, please. Okay. But yeah, so I applied to Dynamic. They got back to me and they were like, hey, we don't have space now, but if you want to start learning our product, we'll keep talking to you. So I spent about a year learning their product and growing my game and getting better. And they ended up, getting in contact with me back. Robert McCall was the team manager back then. And they picked me up there right at the turn of the 2018 season. And yeah, I've been with Dynamic since then. We're a military household, so we move around every few years. So I've had a very unique chance to be like a local pro in a bunch of different like disc golf communities. So
yeah,
I was like the local pro at one of the local pros in like in Missouri for a little bit while we were there, close to Fort Leonard Wood or Rolla, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Germany, in Bavaria, yeah, over on the western side or eastern side of the country. Indiana, just south of the southern tip of Lake Michigan, and then the KC area. Was able to work with them, and now we're here in North Carolina. And my career has kind of been pretty stable. I'm just like the local, kind of 1,000 rated. I got like 20 wins on my record. I win a couple every year and have fun. And big thing is just like I love coaching. I love doing course design and community outreach and stuff like that. So yeah, and that's kind of what I hope to do. As long as Dynamic will have me, I'll keep wearing their flag. So
heck yeah.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to get on that Dynamic team. So hopefully eventually I get there. But for now, I'll be rocking Team Trilogy. So
I like it.
Yeah. So do you find yourself doing more competitive rounds for tournaments, or do you find yourself doing more like casual and some like content creation rounds?
So I'm terrible at like content creation, online stuff. So like my typical posts, if you go and check out my social media stuff, it's like me throwing a disc and telling you about the disc. That's about the extent of it. I've got a camcorder and a tripod, and I've tried to do like filmed rounds, and it's just like it drives me nuts. And I just need to buckle down and maybe just do it, like legit plan a whole day, do the thing, and see if it's something that I can make feasible. But most of my time in the disc golf world is spent, in prep, I would say.
Okay.
And by in prep, what I mean is like I don't go and just like play a casual round with no purpose, right? So like if I go and it's just me at the course, which I do once or twice a week, I will do it with a specific thing that I'm working on. Like I am focusing on mid ranges today, and I want the forehand and backhand. I want to work on angles. I want to work on them in the wind, in the woods, or I'm focusing on forehand. Right? If I had a tournament showing where just flubbed a bunch of forehands, then I will go to the course and specifically work on throwing forehands on the angles and the discs that I want to try and stuff like that. If you're going to the course and you just kind of, if it's just you there and you're working on yourself and you don't have a stack of like 5 putters, then you're kind of doing yourself a disservice, because you shouldn't be going. And if it's just you and you're working on your game, putting is the only thing that you do on every single hole, right?
Yeah.
Putting is the only thing that you do on every single one. It doesn't matter if it's 10-foot tap ins or 25-foot need to makes or 50-foot thumbs up putts, right? That is the one thing you're going to do every single hole, no matter what, is putt. So if you have got a stack of 4 or 5 putters in your practice bag, every single hole as you're picking up, don't just make your one putt. You make your putt, you go thumbs up, then you make 3 more, and then you move to a different position. You make a couple putts. So
that's a pretty good way of doing that. I didn't think of that. I like that.
Yeah.
So do you do a lot of field work, or are you kind of like a not a field work kind of person?
No, I do field work, probably, especially if my game is not feeling good. I won't go to a course. Like I'll keep myself from going to a course with baskets. And there's a little soccer field fairly close to us where I can throw, up to about 450 feet without worrying about getting in anybody's yard. And so I'll just go there and I will just do field work, and I'll do that for a week or 2. I'll just go a couple times in a week and then go a couple times next week. Then I'll get back to thing. If I'm going to a tournament that I haven't seen, so if I'm playing a course blind, I won't go to a course. I'll go do field work instead.
Oh, okay.
So if you're playing a blind tournament, if you're playing a blind event, it is better to know what your discs are going to do than try to anticipate or get used to. Because you go to your local course, you know what disc you're going to throw on what angle. Your brain shuts off. You don't have to try to break the hole down. You don't have to think about golf at all. You just grab red disc, throw it on hyzer, because that's what works on this hole. If you go into a blind course where you don't know what the course is going to look like, or you haven't seen the course, maybe you've done like a U-disc top down, you kind of know basically what the course is going to do. Just go do field work. Go do field work, get comfortable with your bag, know what your discs are going to do, get yourself set up to throw into headwinds and tailwinds and crosswinds and everything like that.
That makes sense. Yeah. So, what drew you to the whole Trilogy brand and specifically Dynamic? Like, what was that one thing that was like, you know what, I gotta be a part of this?
Yeah. So like back in 2015, 2016, 2017, that was kind of where Dynamic Discs was the one company that was really doing broad community outreach through like the YouTube stuff that they were doing back then with Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze and his Disc Golf Answering podcast, and like the monthly check-ins with Rusko. I don't know if you watched any stuff from way back then, but they used to sit down with Jeremy Rusko and just like pepper him with questions. And Rusko would just kind of smile and say, well, we're always working on something. And, like if they're, they hit the, I can't answer that right now sort of question. That was his go-to.
Yeah.
Answer. So that became like a mantra, right? We're always working on something. So that was like, that 2015, 2016, 2017 timeframe was right where I was like, I want to work with a company. And, would go through and I read the mission statements of what each of those companies was about, what Discmania was about, what Discraft was about, and Innova and Prodigy and Gateway. I think I looked up Gateway. I used to throw Spirit. I used to love throwing the Spirit for like thumbers and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And Dynamic just stood out to me. They just seemed different, more approachable to the everyman golfer, which if you're smart, that's who a professional should appeal to.
Mhm.
They're going to, I mean, at some point they're going to pay your bills. They're going to buy your discs. And, I liked their feel. It was much more of a feel thing. It was much more of I could not give you any sort of analytics that I was like, well, here are the numbers that I heard about, what assets they have or have not got available.
Yeah.
It was purely just a feel thing. And I thought that Dynamic was like the proper path forward for the sport. Like they were representing what I thought the sport was going to be moving forward. Like how, and turns out I was right, because now every stinking disc golf commentator can just go back and watch, or not commentator, content creator can go back and watch a whole lot of that early stuff that Dynamic Discs was doing and be like, oh, this is a template for how to do a successful YouTube segment,
Yes.
right? And so I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to be a part of like a growing company, and it was awesome, and it's still awesome. I think there have been a lot of rumblings in the past years. Dynamic is in trouble. Dynamic is in trouble.
Yep. We've all heard it.
It's all just flub. It's fluff. It's nothing. It's
Yep.
just. I think it's been some cranky minds trying to put cranky thoughts out there, and those of us who know just brush it off, just like it's like that's not how it is. We're pretty happy. We're pretty happy as a company, I think, right now, especially.
Yeah. Even Team Trilogy. I mean, we're pretty happy on the fan page. So I mean, we're not sponsored by any of the Trilogy brands, but we're fanboys. We love it. So
heck yeah.
Yeah.
I used to go to the GBO or DDO. I went there 3 or 4 years in a row, and I used to love going to the Team Trilogy dinners and just hanging out with all the Team Trilogy guys. That was so much fun. Just hanging out with everybody. They're always interested in what you're throwing. What do you throw? What do you throw? What do you throw? And it was fun because like a lot of mixed bag players don't throw, for whatever reason, they don't throw a whole lot of Trilogy stuff. But I'm starting to see more of it again. Like it's like people forget how good the Justice is. And then they like see somebody throw it. They watch me throw it, and they're like, God, what was that? And I'm like, that's a Justice. And they're like, I need to put that back in the bag,
Yeah.
So yeah.
So since we're speaking about discs now, have you thrown any of the newer stuff that's come out, like the Motive, the Treason, and even some of the stuff from the Royal Box yet?
I've not thrown anything from the Royal Box, no. And then the Motive and Treason, they shipped right as we were moving from the KC area to North Carolina. So then the discs just did like this big goofy ping, 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 lost in the ether. So I haven't had a chance to throw those. I threw the Tyro, which was like the precursor to the Treason. And I mean, I can tell you how they fly, and they fly exactly as advertised, right? Like the Treason is going to be that for a lot of people, a lot of players. If your arm speed is in that 50 to 53, 54, 55 mile an hour, space, your RPMs are in like the 850 to 1K range. The Treason is going to be a disc that does all sorts of fun stuff for you. It's not a disc that I would necessarily recommend you throwing into a headwind.
No.
But for most other shots, if you're trying to shape something, if you're trying to get something to stand up subtly and maybe move a bit for you, Treason is going to be a really good disc. And then the Motive being a lightweight disc, it's going to give you more stability than something like a Diamond, which is so much fun to throw.
Yeah.
Diamonds are a blast to throw. So a Motive in feel, I imagine, is going to be very similar to a Diamond, lightweight, but it just has more stability. So like for those players that need lighter weights, but they want something that'll stand up to wind a little bit better, the Motive is going to be that over something like a Diamond or a Jade or the other lightweight understable stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what do you actually throw? Like what's in your bag?
Okay. So my bag is fairly overstable, kind of top to bottom. I throw forehand and backhand. I've got decent power on both sides. So like I bag defenders or enforcers, kind of depending on how the mood strikes me. Just that's my overstable slot, is either some crazy overstable defenders or some enforcers. I've got some enforcers that are really, really overstable, and then some that are just like kind of go-to disc overstable. My go-to drivers is Supreme Raider, which is a different mold than the Raider. A lot of people don't know that. They just think it's just another Raider, and it's not. Like, it's a new cut mold. Supreme Raider is very good, and I would say for most people it's pretty overstable. I've got a couple that are nicely worked in to be that workhorse, do everything sort of driver. I've got a Heist in the bag. That's a fantastic disc. Yes.
Yeah.
Very good 12 speed. It's understable, but it's got a heavier nose, a little blunter, a little more blunt nose than some of the understable drivers out there. So it can take a lot of torque, and you don't get like cut rolls out. So like even on shots that are really panning over to the right, I don't get that disc that, like, it doesn't continue to turn over. It just kind of will hold that angle and move to the right.
Okay.
On the backhand. Definitely a disc if you're looking for something for hyzer flip shots, long turnover shots. Definitely a disc to give a try, and it's got torque resistance too, so it can take a sidearm. So if you have a sidearm where you struggle to get discs like a Raider to, stand up and move for you, give the Heist a try. It's really, really good flyer. Yeah, and then I carry criminals and sergeants in that hybrid slot, felons, evaders, and a Maverick for fairway drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Mid ranges, Justice, Supreme Fugitive, the new EMAC Truth.
Yes.
That was really good disc. And then I keep an old beat up, it's like a 2020 series, Clemens Felon, or not Clemens Felon, Clemens Verdict, for like forehands. Super good forehand disc.
I love those ones, but mine's in a lake, so it's like, oh, dang it.
And they're not making them anymore. Well, like maybe they will. Maybe they will. Now that he's back, maybe
hopefully.
I would love it if they did some of their flat top run of verdicts. That'd be fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah. And then my last mid range is the Bounty. Super underrated, understable mid range, in my opinion. A lot of people don't like the way it feels. Just because it's kind of got if you've ever thrown a Discraft Comet, that's how the Bounty feels. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very similar to a Comet. So it's beaded, and it's got like this big kind of goofy elephant nose, like elephant seal nose. And I love it. It's torque resistant. I can throw it hard and get consistent, like hyzer flip to turn mid-range shots. Like throw it for like forehand turnovers, little flick turnovers that I want to just kind of pan left the whole time. Putt and approach, I throw Culprit for quite a few shots.
Yep.
I found a run of Culprits that I really enjoy. It's the Lucid Ice run. The yellow ones in particular are like board flat to even puddle top. So they're torque resistant. You can throw them hard on forehand and stuff. And then I'll keep really beat up Culprit in the bag for straight shots. I got a Warden in there, Lucid Warden for floaty shots, really straight, really kind of subtle turnover shots. Saki Bomb Slammer just for short, super dumpy stuff. It's one of the Chameleon runs too, so it's just like hog
beef.
Yeah, just pure beef. And then I putt with Juries right now.
Okay.
I've always been a beaded putter guy. I just like the feel of a beaded putter. And the Jury is great. It's got good glide for as overstable as it is. It's got good glide. And it's just like any putter. If you beat it in, it's less overstable. So mine are pretty straight, inside about 40 feet before I need to start kind of moving them out to the right of the bucket so that they're diving in at it. And then I have one deputy in the bag. I keep a classic hybrid deputy in the bag just for like tricky turnover putts or really short. Like if I'm spinning something and it's got to fit inside a window and then it's got to move to the bucket, like it's a really tight stuff. That's where like I'll pull the deputy out for tricky little shots.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I like that bag.
Yeah, it's a good bag. Works for me.
Yeah, perfect. That's all matters.
Yeah.
So, how much coverage do you watch? And like, are you more kind of MPO or FPO side?
I will watch if it's on. I'll watch it. There are very few tournaments on YouTube that exist that I have not watched in entirety. right? And then I've got a DGN Pro subscription, so I watch live stuff every tournament. I'm watching it. It might not be on the whole time, but I'll watch it. I will watch FPO. I'll watch MPO. Primarily, I watch MPO, but there are some tournaments that are just, I would almost say, more electric on the FPO side. Like I loved watching Jonesboro
Mhm.
FPO coverage more than MPO coverage, just because coming down the stretch, those holes, a lot of those holes play, they've really good stroke swing, like fun to watch for FPO coverage. Just because the distances on a few of those holes are just far enough to where like the gals that are throwing well are getting to the landing zones, or and then the gals that aren't throwing as well aren't, or if like they're off, they're off. But versus
Yeah.
like MPO at Jonesboro, there's quite a few holes where you just murking a disc, right? And if you're in prime landing zone, and and the guy that's 40 feet behind you, it doesn't really matter overly much. They might be throwing a slightly faster disc, but they're throwing the same shot with it, So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, since you want to watch a lot of coverage, here's a good question for you. Why do they have like the All-Star event normally at the beginning of the season, where like other sports have like All-Star events towards the end of the season?
yeah. So that's a really good question, and I couldn't answer as to why they do that. I'm sure. I think it should be like most All Star events, like mid season. Like do it at mid-season and do it at a venue that is awesome, and like you could do it in the like the break, like the last couple of events before Worlds, like as you're leading up to Worlds, maybe have two events before Worlds, but like there's a break midsummer, or maybe right after the European swing, something like that, where you right after European swing might be the best time to do it, just because then you'll have all of the top performers from kind of the European swing might have a chance to play in and be all stars for that year. That is where I think it should be. Now, logistically, what does that look like, right? Because Worlds moves all the time.
Yeah.
Worlds moves every year. Like this year it's in Michigan. Next year it's going to be in Portland. So like trying to navigate 250 people around the planet to at the same basic time of the year and have a consistent all-star event, I imagine is difficult. So I think, if I were to guess, they have it at the beginning of the year for logistical reasons. Like we can guarantee everybody's going to basically be in this area of the country at this time without a whole lot of prior commitments, right? It's 2 weeks before the season, so they have plenty of time to drive the 2 hours down to this course, whether it's wherever starting the season, to get reps in. So if I were to guess, that's why they do it the way they do it. I wish they did it a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, since Europe had Worlds last year, do you think that they now set the standard of what Worlds should look like? Because they did a phenomenal job,
Yeah,
honestly.
I think that's what UC wanted. UC Maresma, guy that they built Discmania up from nothing to what it is, and so much of like the Scandinavian disc golf scene is owed to kind of some of the groundwork that he did. And then Worlds was what I imagine every other Worlds proceeding this is going to have to look back on and be like, did we do it good enough? Did we do it good enough? Right. And I don't know if they're going to be able to, because the crowds in Europe are so huge. I got a chance to play European Open in 2019,
Ooh.
and I was there like last day was the Saturday, and I was like I was teeing off like mid morning, and there were 1,000 people on the course watching us play, just
That's
randomly,
cool.
right? Like kind of lower middling level pros playing the course, and there's people on every single hole watching you throw, and that's an experience that's different. So and just you watch coverage, you go back and watch coverage of Worlds, and there's 10,000 people walking around that, and that's so like where the beast is not a big area. It's like a little community park that they then jumbled the beast into. So it's like you look out, especially if you're standing up, like if you're standing up at the top where the scoreboard is on 18, and you were to turn around and look down the hill towards 17, 16, 15, 14 way back in the distance, it's just a sea of people. So I think optically, like the visuals are going to be very, very difficult for any worlds to stack up to. But
Yeah.
it'd be awesome to see if we grow. If we grow that well, grow that much over the next few years. I could see that becoming the norm in like a decade. It's like 10 years from now. I imagine that's what more and more worlds will look like.
Yeah. And
So
luckily for us, we'll be in the age protected division by then. So
yes, MP40, here I come.
yes.
2 more years. 2 more years. I got to deal with the young bucks just murking discs at 80 miles an hour for another season and a half. Ugh.
Yeah. So for you personally, what are your top 5 courses that you've ever played?
Ooh. So we lived in Europe for a while. So my top 5 courses are a little different. I'm not even going to rank these. These are just if I were to think about 5 courses that if I just had access to for the rest of my life, I'd want them there. Konopiste,
Okay.
so much fun to play. It's just fun. I mean, like scoring separation is a little bit not there, just because some of the OBs were it was so wide. It was almost difficult to get to OB, but it was just gorgeous. You're on a castle grounds, like literally like 4 or 5 holes. You turn around and there's a castle on the hill. Very cool. So Konopiste, the Beast there in Finland, when Nokia was so much fun. It's a fun course. It's a very challenging course. WR Jackson, which is gone. It's not there anymore. But that course was a blast. I love playing that course. Let me see here. I really like. I really like Bad Rock Creek in Kansas City. It's a lot of fun. Whole bunch of different shot shapes. I would love it if they could figure out how to partner up with the landowners there and use a bit more of the woods on the backside of the property. They got a whole bunch of bike trails in the woods back there, but if they could figure out how to use those woods back there a little bit more, man, that property could be, top 10 in the world. It's already a lot of fun, and it's one of my favorites to play. So that'll be on there. One more. Let me see. The championship layout at the canyons at Delwood is so much fun to play. So that's in what's it? It's in Illinois. It's just south of Chicago. I can't remember the name of the town. Some of your listeners would probably know the town, but that's where the canyons at Delwood. You just type that into UDisc, and it's a lot of fun to play. Yeah. So I think that's maybe my top 5 right
Sounds
now.
like good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a good top 5 right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I like, you'll know the marker there is I like golf. I like par 4s. I like par 5s. I like having to break holes down and think about what makes sense. Does the straight fairway driver or the straight mid range off the tee make sense, or does the Kamehameha up and over everything and try to get to that second landing zone? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I like that mental game that you should be having to play in a game, in a game with golf in the title.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
So what are your goals for this upcoming season?
This coming year, 2026, is going to be much more community outreach focused. So we're based here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and there are some good courses in the area. But just west of us, there's a county with 0 disc golf courses. Zero disc golf anything. Whole county, it's a huge county called Hope County, and so one of the things that I'm really going to try to do is work with the county Parks and Rec department and run some clinics for them and get their kids kind of introduced to disc golf. And be like, hey, this is something cool. Would you guys like a course? Love to build them a disc golf complex, little community course, and then a tournament course where they can get some tourism, rolling their way. And then I've recently been brought on to help do a redesign project of a course called Hardaway Point. It's in Baden, North Carolina, and it's gorgeous. It's the property is actually called Baden Inn, the 1913 Baden Inn. So it's a very old inn in a town going even farther back. The town was actually designed by a French company that used it as an industrial town. Super cool. So it's not the typical kind of American small town grid pattern design. It's what it's called a curvilinear design. It was very froofy at the time. But so the inn there has played host to governors and state senators and golfers and this, that, and the other. There used to be a big golf course on the property,
Ooh.
And now the golf course isn't run anymore. They put a disc golf course in during the COVID boom, like 2020, and it's fun. It's got some really cool views, but it was just lacking in that next level of refinement and difficulty. And they want to host bigger events. They hosted a B tier this past fall and just loved it. The owners loved it. All of their patrons and stuff thought it was just the coolest thing. So they want to host. Well, I think this next year we're going to try to make that same tournament at A tier, and they want to host DGPTQ series events, and they want to host Go Throw stuff. They want to get skins matches out there because they're right now what they are is they're an event venue, right? They're a tourist destination, and disc golf. They see disc golf, I think, rightfully so, with their property as another avenue to elevate their kind of touristy sort of stat package, so to speak. But yeah, super cool project. I'm very excited for it. A lot of really cool elevation to play with, some really beautiful views, big valley there in North Carolina. It's really pretty.
That's going to be so cool.
Yeah. And then like the rest of the season, I'll play some events. I don't know. I won't be able to play the DGPT event in Charlotte, North Carolina, just because scheduling didn't quite work out, but I'll probably play a few A tiers, play some B tiers. I mean, I'll probably go to a couple of USDGC qualifiers just because, you never know. And then might play, if I don't get in, I might try to do Monday qualifying again next year. I only missed it by a couple strokes this year. So maybe next year will be the year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's like, just like the Bills fans keep saying, maybe next year.
Next year. Those poor Bills.
Oh, devastating loss last night.
Devastating. Yeah. Yeah.
So as we're wrapping this up, you got any questions for me?
Sure. What's your go-to driver?
My Saki Bomb Felon. I love flexing that on the forehand.
Okay. I was going to say sidearm flexes. Very nice. Yep. Very nice. Have you ever tried the Sergeant on forehands?
No, I have not.
I would suggest it. So if you like the Saki Bomb Felon, especially as they work in, what run do you throw the Saki Bomb Felon? Is it like the prototype run, or is it the production run stuff?
The more production one, the final orbit one that they ran.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are straighter out of the box, if I'm remembering.
Yes.
Yes. So if you like throwing that, get a Sergeant, try it on the same lines, maybe not quite as much Anheuser, maybe a tick flatter, but it will absolutely get you more distance. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. So and same at the same kind of power gradient. Like you don't need more spin or speed to get it to do more. The Sergeant, in my opinion, is our most undersung mold. It is such a good mold for a vast array of people. Like for lower arm speeds, it can be that wind fighter driver. For higher arm speeds, like myself, it's that do everything hybrid driver. I carry two Sergeants. I've got one that's more beat in that I use for hyzer flip kind of cheeky stuff in the woods. And then I've got one that's more brand new that I use for low ceiling, like flat release shots, baby stuff. And then on the forehand side, I use it for basically the same shots.
Okay.
High release, it'll just give me a dead straight flight with a hyzer finish. The flippy one, I can start with some hyzer and it'll stand up and then maybe trickle a little left and finish right. But yeah, so my suggestion to you then would be get a Sergeant, give it a shot.
Definitely will.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. What else you got?
Let's see here. What's your favorite course?
I haven't played too many outside of my area, so my top course I would have to say is Shorewinds. They have what we call the Beast and Windrush, and I struggle with the Beast, and that's what I like because it makes you think the whole time.
Good. That's perfect. All right. Final question. Let me see here. You play tournaments? You looking forward to tournaments this year?
Yeah.
What event are you most looking forward to this year?
I would say if I qualify for AM Worlds, that would be awesome. But I'm not sure if I did or not. So if I didn't, then it'll be the Western New York AMS Championship that's ran here, and it's at Bond Lake, and then it finishes sometimes at Royalton.
Cool. Heck yeah. That'd be a great one to play. I never played it, but I imagine I have friends and I have some like some clients and stuff that just love it.
Yeah. So, final question for you is, where can people find you to follow your journey?
So just go to Facebook is the easiest thing. Kyle Giovannini. Last name is spelled Giovanni. I don't post often, but I do kind of troll all the different little disc golf discussion sites, and I love getting in discussions with people about molds and about courses and about design, yada yada yada. On Instagram, you can find me at Kyle_G_Gio, Gio. And I post disc reviews and some fun disc flights and some form breakdown stuff, this, that, and the other. And then YouTube, I haven't got a whole lot up on YouTube yet. I think it's the same as like Kyle Giovannini 7200, something silly. It's like from way back when YouTube was first a thing. So I've never actually updated the disc golf or the YouTube profile name, but yeah. So that's where people can look me up.
All right, sounds good. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me, man. This was a blast.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Yep, you too.